I'm Tara Merchiner. Tonight on EWTN News Nightly, sitting down at the table. President Trump hosts a wide-ranging cabinet meeting, and he targets the Federal Reserve. A deliberate act. A Catholic aid group issues a dire warning about the situation in Gaza. Protecting children. A new report says there are new dangers to posting pictures of children online. Plus, we gather together. A preview of the EWTN Family Celebration taking place this weekend in Northern Virginia. These stories and more tonight.
From EWTN, the Global Catholic Network, this is EWTN News Nightly.
And thank you so much for being with us. Our top story tonight, President Donald Trump doubles down on his crime crackdown, and he says killers in Washington, D.C. will face the death penalty. Now, the punishment is meant to deter crime, but it flies in the face of Catholic Church teaching. President Donald Trump assembles his cabinet to discuss everything from the economy to crime, including a new announcement about capital punishment.
If somebody kills somebody in the Capitol, Washington, D.C., we're going to be seeking the death penalty. And that's a very strong preventative. And everybody that's heard it agrees with it.
But the Catholic Catechism, as revised by Pope Francis, now says the death penalty is inadmissible because it is an attack on the inviolability and dignity of the person. Still, the president defends his crime crackdown.
This will be the safest capital there is. It'll be one of the safest places in our nation.
The president also drew criticism for interfering with the independence of the Federal Reserve, which sets interest rates. Trump seeks to fire Lisa Cook, one of the group's governors.
When executives start to try and meddle with central bank independence, that comes at real cost.
The U.S. Treasury Secretary defends the move.
Federal Reserve's independence comes from a political arrangement between itself and the American public. Having the public's trust is the only thing that gives it credibility, and you, sir, are restoring trust to government.
The president also says Republicans are gaining voters while Democrats fall behind. His energy secretary praises the new administration.
The American dream isn't dead. It's just been smothered, and we're unsmothering it and setting it loose.
And the president drew laughs when he teased Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who ran against Trump in 2016.
I think you're born for this job. I don't think you should ever run for another office. I don't think you should, really. You're so good at this.
In the Fed's 111-year history, no member of its board has been fired by a president, and Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook is challenging the president's move by filing a lawsuit. And Cook says she will continue doing her job unless the courts say otherwise. Trump can only fire a Fed board member for cause, and Cook faces no legal charges. All of this comes as the president tries to put increasing pressure on the Fed to lower interest rates. So for more, let's bring in Jeffrey Campbell. He is a former senior economist and research advisor at the Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago and current professor at Notre Dame. Thanks for joining us. Do you think the president can do this?
Yes, I do actually think the president can do this. For cause, you mentioned that Dr. Cook has no current legal proceedings against her, and that's true, but for cause is a much less stringent requirement than currently convicted of a crime. Many Federal Reserve, both board, not necessarily board members, but presidents, have resigned in the after wrongdoing has been revealed on their part. I'm thinking in particular about former Richmond Fed President Jeff Lacker. Others have stuck it out after they've made mistakes. And that refusal to own up to your mistakes and face and take responsibility for them with the American public has consequences for the Fed's independence and for the Fed's ability to conduct monetary policy. So yes, I do absolutely believe the president has the authority to fire Dr. Cook for the allegations of, over the allegations of the criminal referral of mortgage fraud.
Interesting. How do you suppose President Trump's attempt to fire a Federal Reserve governor affect the average American, say?
I think it affects the average American not one bit. Financial markets are a little bit rattled because they've proceeded as if the Fed could do almost anything and have no political blowback. That's clearly not the case, and they're adjusting their expectations to that new normal. But Dr. Cook, while a useful member of the Board of Governors, is by no means indispensable.
If the president succeeds in the effort, what does that mean for the Federal Reserve big picture? Does it threaten the Fed's independence?
No, I don't believe it threatens the Fed's independence about what matters at all. What matters for the Fed's independence is monetary policy. President Trump obviously has opinions about how the Fed should be setting monetary policy. He's been very clear about those. But Governor Cook's firing has directly little to do with that. Okay, it has much more to do with taking out mortgages on 2 primary residences at the same time, which allowed her to get a lower interest rate on both of them. Okay, that's the allegation. To be criminally punished, she deserves her day in court. But being a governor of the Federal Reserve is a privilege, and taking away that privilege does not require a criminal conviction in court.
Do you think a move like this could actually have international implications, and could it also undermine confidence with U.S. trading partners?
I definitely think not. I think this is a very standard political event going on here. There's somebody is alleged to have gotten caught with her hand in the cookie jar, and she's being punished for that. Most of our trading partners and foreign central banks will look right through that.
Okay. Well, Jeffrey Kimball, thanks for putting that all in perspective. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, the Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem says despite Israel's warnings of an upcoming offensive to occupy the Gaza Strip, clergy and religious sisters will not evacuate. In a joint statement with the Greek Orthodox Patriarch, Cardinal Pier Battista Pizzaballa says in part, quote, leaving Gaza City and trying to flee to the south would be nothing less than a death sentence. For this reason, the clergy and nuns have decided to remain and continue to care for all those who will be in the compounds. The decision comes soon after an Israeli strike hit the only Catholic church in Gaza in July, killing 3 people. The Greek and Latin patriarchates have served hundreds of refugees since the start of the war, with religious sisters and clergy caring for the malnourished and disabled. The Catholic aid group Caritas Internationalis is denouncing the situation in Gaza. It says the famine is a calculated act and not a consequence of war. Caritas says civilians are being, quote, starved, bombed, and exterminated. It blames Israel for allowing the crisis to continue. It also criticizes the international response, calling it insufficient, and warns that silence equals approval. This comes as the United Nations condemns the deadly Israeli airstrikes on a hospital in Gaza that left 20 people dead, including 5 journalists.
The killing of journalists in Gaza should shock the world, not into stunned silence, but into action, demanding accountability and justice.
Israel hit the hospital Monday, then struck again as first responders and media rushed to the scene. The Israeli military says it was targeting what they believed was a Hamas surveillance camera, as well as people they identified as militants. It says there is an ongoing investigation into the chain of command that approved the strike, while Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu calls an incident a, quote, tragic mishap. And protesters are taking to the streets of Israel, blocking highways, burning tires, and demanding a ceasefire to free the hostages still being held in Gaza. Relatives of the hostages say sustained public pressure is their best bet to push Prime Minister Netanyahu and his security cabinet to commit to meaningful ceasefire talks. Some members of his coalition are pushing back, saying they will resign if Israel agrees to a truce. The U.S. Coast Guard says it has made its largest drug seizure in history. The Coast Guard says in 2 months of operations, it has grabbed more than 76,000 pounds of illegal drugs. U.S. officials add that drug cartels in Venezuela are responsible, and many of the drugs came from Colombia. The seized drugs were valued at $473 million. And we have a lot more still to come on EWTN News Nightly, including controversy on campus, why a new bill in Illinois targeting college students is a step backward for the pro-life movement, and cyber safety. A troubling new report says posting pictures of kids online can be very dangerous. A sad day for the pro-life cause in Illinois. The state's governor signs a measure to make contraception and medical abortions more accessible at state universities. The bill from Democrat J.B. Pritzker requires state colleges and universities to offer contraception and medical abortions on campus. Schools must also offer appointments with professionals who can provide and dispense contraception and medical abortion drugs. The measure takes effect this school year. A group advocating for child safety on the internet is sounding the alarm over parents sharing pictures of their children online. The group Enough is Enough says the rise of artificial intelligence means it could be easier for strangers to contact children online. There are also new apps that can generate fake and harmful photos based on real ones. All right, for more on this, let's go to Donna Rice, who's president and CEO of Enough is Enough. Donna, great to have you. The alarm really began sounding over this earlier in the month in an article in the New York Times. So tell us more about what the article said.
It was a warning to parents about sharing basically innocent pictures and videos of their children, which parents and grandparents have a tendency to do. I'm one. I've got 5 grandkids because we're so proud of these kids and we want to share them with our friends. But now with AI has just blown everything out of the water for good and also for evil. And there are now what is called nudifying apps. So anyone, a predator, a trafficker, a pornographer, or even another child can use these nudify apps. They can put a picture of your child, your very innocent child that, from vacation or back to school picture or anything. They can put it through one of these AI nudifying apps and create sexually explicit and pornographic images of your child.
Wow. Boy, it never ends. What does your research say about the dangers, right, of posting these pictures of children online? You just mentioned the nudifying app, but I'm also wondering, what ages are you talking about? Are we talking about young children?
Well, we're worried about all of us, quite honestly, Tara. You and me. I mean, these nudifying apps will let any picture of anybody go through the nudifying app to create sexually explicit and pornographic types of images and even activities. So it's very scary. And of course, in the wrong hands, this is happening. So if parents are aware of that, I think it's really important. I mean, at Enough is Enough, we've always encouraged parents to be careful about what they're posting about their child. For instance, even back to school pictures or where they're going to school or them in their cheerleading uniform or their sports uniform and the name of their school. Even that, this is beyond nudifying apps, can alert a sextortioner, a sexual predator, or a trafficker and give them enough information about your child so that they can actually track that child down and begin communicating with them on what we call online grooming. And so this is happening on an industrial scale already. This is prior to nudifying apps and AI. So it's always been something that we really need to be super careful of, because when you open up the internet to your child or to yourself, you get all the good and all the bad. And these are just bad actors using technology to do bad and evil things to harm your child and your family.
This is certainly going to surprise a lot of people. It almost makes you feel like you can't post anything. So what are at least some best practices for those who want to provide updates on their kids while also keeping them safe? Is it even possible?
Well, I think it is. One of the things is just don't do it online. I know that's really hard because we're all used to, our social media accounts and everything else. But if you're going to use a social media account, make sure it's a closed account and you know who is in that account and ask them not to share publicly. But that's still no guarantee, even the privacy settings. You want to teach your child to do the same thing because kids are constantly out there with the peer pressure, with what they're doing, trying to get more likes, trying to get more friends and everything else. It's just this whole culture of social media. But I can tell you what we're doing in our family. Most of the pictures of our grandchildren, we're just sharing by text and email.
Wow. Boy, better safe than sorry, right?
I know.
Donna Rice Hughes,
It is,
President
it
and
is.
CEO of Enough is Enough. Thanks so much for joining us. Such important information.
Thank you, Tara. Thanks for having me.
All right, up next on EWTN News Nightly, positive energy. An order of religious sisters in Italy makes some major changes to their community and the neighborhood. Plus, mark your calendars. The EWTN Family Celebration is this weekend, and EWTN's Chaplain shares the inside scoop. Tells French altar servers to persevere faithfully in their service during Mass. He adds, quote, "The lack of priests in France is a great misfortune." In a meeting with more than 350 altar servers, Pope Leo thanked them for their work in the church. He also asked them to be open to religious life, reminding them of the gift of the Mass. The number of priests in France has declined each year. This past year in Paris, just 16 priests were ordained. Though cloistered Poor Clares in Rome are turning to renewable energy to power their community and their neighbors, it makes them one of the capital city's first renewable energy communities. EWTN News Vatican journalist Paola Flynn has more.
Not far from the Vatican, the Poor Clare Sisters of the Santa Chiara Monastery are leading the way in clean energy. Inspired by Pope Francis's encyclical on care for the environment, Laudato Si, the cloistered monastery has founded La Pianticella, a solar power system that harnesses renewable energy. Behind the project is Sister Marta Maddalena. She worked as an engineer 5 years before entering the convent.
It will still take years to eliminate fossil fuels for energy production, but little by little, we're trying to move in that direction. And this plant of ours, the realization of this project, goes precisely in that direction. It is our small contribution, a small seed, to help move us forward along this path.
150 solar panels have been installed on the monastery roof and will produce up to 70 kilowatt hours of energy. The initiative reflects the order's deep care for the environment. This is a cloistered community, so the sisters never leave the convent. While they may not get to experience nature the way the rest of the world does, the abbess of the monastery explains that they still have a profound connection to creation.
The more you come into contact with God, the more you understand the value of creation, which has been entrusted to man to guard, to care for, and even to improve. So it was a sensitivity that Pope Francis immediately found in us. There was no need to convince us.
It was Mother Elena's initiative to extend the project to the surrounding community, turning neighbors into friends and even frequent visitors. Once operational, the project will supply up to 24 local households with renewable energy. For the sisters, this is more than just a project. It's about community, care for creation, and creating a hopeful model for the future.
Right now, the system isn't running yet. It should start operating in the autumn, we hope. So the results in terms of economic benefits, of recovering the investments in about 10 years, are still to come. But the results in terms of communion with the neighborhood residents, of walking together with people who share our same values, those we already see, and they are very beautiful.
In Rome, Paola Flynn, EWTN News Nightly.
All right, and finally tonight, the final preparations are in place for the 2025 EWTN Family Celebration, taking place this year just outside of the nation's capital. This year's event is in Tysons, Virginia. It is free of charge and seating is limited. The Family Celebration is a day of prayer, faith-enriching talks, and fellowship with the EWTN community. It is also a chance to see and meet your favorite EWTN personalities. And one of those favorite personalities joins us now, Father Joseph Mary Wolf, EWTN Chaplain and Chapel Dean. Father Joseph, so great to have you. You have been to so many of these family celebrations. What are some of your favorite memories? And if people are considering whether to go, what would you tell them about why they should be there?
Yes, it's always so uplifting for me personally, but also for our EWTN crew because we hear so many stories. It's really like a family gathering. That's what we call it. You know, Mother said we're family, and it's an EWTN Family Celebration where we can get together with some of our viewers who see us, and now we get to see them. And I remember, of course, when Mike Warsaw started these events for the 25th anniversary year of EWTN, and we traveled to several cities. Denver and San Francisco and San Antonio and Philadelphia and St. Louis, and just a wonderful experience of getting to know and to meet some of our viewers.
Yeah, absolutely. It's got to be very special. So, you know, what are you hoping the location this year? What do you hope it comes out of that? Because it's so close to the nation's capital. Does that have special meaning?
Mm-hmm. It really does, you know, that we have so many viewers, of course, on the East Coast. And I'm looking forward to going to Arlington. I actually study with a number of Arlington men who are now priests in that diocese. And actually, Bishop Michael Burbidge was part of the formation team at St. Charles when I was there. I graduated in '93. But I think, again, you know, there's just this way in which EWTN is able to be a blessing to people. And that's really what we desire to do, to help strengthen and encourage people in their faith. And so many people have told me over the years since COVID, they said, you got us through COVID, you know, and our daily Mass could continue, and they talk about their appreciation for that, but all of the programs really. And I think more and more the network just continues to grow and to feed people where they are and what they need.
Yeah, such a need for it today. Can you also tell us, you know, what are some of the highlights of this year's celebration?
You know, I always love Monsignor Roger Landry's, his articles that he writes for the Register. And he's preached the televised Mass here on a number of occasions, and he always has some profound insights. But I mean, the whole lineup is just a remarkable team. If you watch the interregnum coverage with Montse and Dr. Matthew Bunson and Roger Landry, they were just the A-team, you know, and all of them are going to be speaking at this event. So I just encourage you to come. Michael Warsaw is going to have an address at the beginning too. And he just has some, I think, exciting news to share with people just about how EWTN is now meeting this digital age with EWTN Plus and so on.
Yeah, expanding the reach indeed, and its influence, and such a positive thing, Father. Father Joseph Mary Wolf, EWTN Chaplain and Chaplain, thank you so much. It's going to be a great event.
Great to be with you. And also, of course, we're going to have confessions available throughout the day. We're going to have the Holy Mass at the end of the day and the Holy Rosary with our friars. So it's a spiritual event as well that we invite our people to join us with.
All right, looking forward to all of it. Thanks, Father.
You're welcome.
And we thank you for watching tonight. Remember, you can follow us on social media, Facebook, X, and Instagram at EWTN News Nightly. I'm Tara Merchant. Good night and God bless.